Hello, everyone. Welcome back. If you've been here before, welcome if you're new. It is yours truly, Louise Saint Cyr, with another podcast topic video. This today's title is forgiveness, and let's dive right in. Scripture that talks about forgiveness. There are several, notably Ephesians 4:32. Be kind to one another, as God in Christ forgave you. Right? Forgiveness is for your benefit. Right? It is, because essentially, it's like if you don't forgive, it's like drinking poison and hoping and wishing and praying that the other person will die. I mean, that's crazy because what you're doing is holding on to negativity, which does you more harm than it does the other person. It's essentially like holding even yourself hostage to a toxic point in time, to an unfavorable situation. You are wallowing in the mud. You are nosediving into the mess. You are enjoying the swamp that you've become, eventually a swamp thing. Because that's what unforgiveness does. It corrodes you from the inside out. It'll show up on your face with the words wretch carved into your forehead. You'll walk around looking like Mr. Grumpy Grump or Mrs. Grumpy Grump, looking like Mr. and Mrs. Grouch. You'll grow wrinkles sooner than later. You'll just look like darkness, because that's what unforgiveness is. Unforgiveness is a form of darkness because it corrodes, it corrupts your soul. It makes you bitter, not better. So when you forgive, you're really doing yourself more of a favor than the other person. And when you do forgive, you don't have to let the person who harm or hurt you back into your life. You can forgive and love them from a distance. Say, hey, I forgive you, but I don't think I feel comfortable having you around me. I don't think I trust you. And I mean, unforgiveness will develop trust issues if you let it. But you can clearly just state, for my sacred space, for my protection, for to set healthy, clear boundaries, I forgive you, but I do not welcome you back into my life. I can love you from a distance, right? Like if it's something that was that bad, that it wounded you so deeply, right? That I can forgive you, but I can't let you back into my life. And that's okay. That is one stage of forgiveness, right? But are you truly forgiven when you do that? Is the question. On one level, you can forgive and let go and move on and not allow the person back into your life, and you're not holding any grudge or animosity. You truly forgave from your heart, but you just don't want to be near them because you don't know when they may strike again. There's another type of forgiveness where you forgive, but you don't forget. You forgive the person, you let them back into your life, but in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm gonna, be on the lookout type of thing, just to see if they are a repetitive offender to come and disrespect, violate you in whatever shape or form they did before in the past, or even worse. So you may forgive and you forget and you let them back into your life, right? And then you just totally wipe the slate clean. This is like when God said he forgives you. He throws your forgiveness into the sea of forgetfulness, that it is not remembered. It's not being held against you any longer. You have been given a fresh new start on life. God gave you his grace and his mercy. When he forgives you, he tosses it. If he forgives and forgets, that's a whole nother level of forgiveness. It takes somebody who is truly godly. You are definitely girded about with the true essence of God, for you to be able to forgive and forget and let them back into your life like nothing ever happened. I've done that many times, many moons over, with family members and friends, where until it got to the point where enough was enough. They were showing me they were lepers who will never lose their spots, a snake that will never lose their sting, okay, or bite. There's zebras who'll never lose their stripes, so on and so on, right? And that's when I decided to then forgive and love them from a distance, which means I'm not letting you back into my life. There's a third type of forgiveness, actually, where you forgive, but you don't forget. And you can if and between whether you're going to let them back in or you're going to shut them out. It all depends on the mood, the day, I guess, the type of thing. I'm not going to forget the lesson that I learned from the harm or hurt that you caused. But I'll keep you at arm's length. I don't want to be, I'm not going to let you in fully, but I'll let you in a little bit. Here and there, high and by type of thing. But it won't be as before. Do you see what I mean? Like, it really does change things. So those two are the human form of forgiveness. The third one, the second one that I mentioned, that is the godly form of forgiveness, where you forgive and forget and let them back into your life like nothing ever happened. And as I said, I've done that. But I got to the point where I then had to apply the human form of forgiveness, where they were repetitive offenders against me, wronging me, showing me their true colors. And I just could not continue to forgive and forget and let them back in, because they just kept doing me dirty. They just kept poking the bear. And that's going to be another topic for another talk, another day. So forgiveness, essentially, point one, is for your own health and well-being, not the offenders. Secondly, unforgiveness blocks your blessings from God, because you're walking around with like a ton of bricks on your shoulders. It's like carrying the whole world on your back. It is like drinking all of your toxic emotions and holding on to them for dear life, like they're oxygen, like they have nutritional value, like they're like vitamin B family or something of the sort, like they're superfoods. But no, they're quite the opposite. They're like a vampire, draining you of your life force and your emotional and mental wellness. So you walk around feeling heavy, feeling hard up in your heart. You become cold-hearted and sinister, dark and bitter, toxic to the touch. Everywhere you go, you just spew your negativity because you're carrying it like it's your lifeline, when actually it's taking life from you. Because nobody will want to be around you when you become Mr. Grinch, when you become Mr. Grumpy, when you become hard up and cold-hearted. No one wants to go. A warm person, let's put it like that, a warm person will not want to go to bed with a cold body. And that's what unforgiveness does to you inside and out. It hardens your heart. It corrupts your soul. It makes you unpleasant to be around. You're like a bad odor. As soon as people see you coming, they're running for cover because you exude the toxic load of unforgiveness. It gives off bad aura, bad vibes, that people run for cover when they see you coming. Oh boy, here comes Mr. Grinch or Mrs. Grinch again. I don't want to deal with that. I've encountered such individuals in life, let me tell you, and I head for the hills. When I see them coming, I go in the opposite direction. I don't want nothing to do with such. I don't want to be in close vicinity with such individuals, because that stuff can rub off. If you're not strong enough, if you don't know how to put up a shield around you, if you don't know how to dismiss their toxic ways and toxic talks, you become like them in which you hang around, he or she. Whomever it is, they'll gossip, they'll talk about people in the worst of ways. This is what unforgiveness does. They create reasons why they're holding a grudge for so long against somebody. It could be 2 decades ago, 2.5, 3, 4, 5. Some people carry unforgiveness to their grave, and guess what? Unforgiveness is the very thing that killed them. Unforgiveness is the very thing that probably gave them a heart attack. Because third point is unforgiveness. Well, before I move on to the third point, where I talked about unforgiveness blocks your blessings, it is noted also, this point is also emphasized in Colossians 3:13, it looks like. Pardon me if I'm incorrect. But it said, bear with each other and forgive one another. Right? If any of you have these grievances against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. Right? So if you want God to forgive you, you have to also forgive those who've offended you. It's really a principle within the universe called reciprocity. You get what you give. Right? So, if you want forgiveness, you have to give forgiveness. You can't ask for what you don't give. That is fundamental, universal principle. You cannot get what you don't give, whether that's forgiveness, whether that's love, whether that's respect, whether that's kindness, whether that's compassion, whether that's empathy, whether that's understanding. You can't get what you don't give. So if you want the Lord our God to forgive you of your sins, you have to forgive others who've offended you. You have to forgive them. And I know it's easier said than done because the pain is so raw, it's so real. Like you cannot believe this person did this to you. How could they? How could you? Is your thinking. You're so wounded in your heart that it's hard to forgive something you feel is unforgivable. Unforgivable sins, and I'm not talking about petty sins. I'm not talking about the little petty nonsense stuff. I'm talking about unforgivable stuff like where family or friends betrayed you, sold your children into slavery, or even sold you into slavery or bondage, blocking your blessings, coming up against you, fighting against you, keeping you down and out. Those are unforgivable things because those are supposed to be family who's supposed to love on you, care for you, support you, talk you up, not talk you down, not behind your back, putting you down with their negative, dirty, derogatory, defaming, and assassinating of one's character type of words, cursing you with their words essentially. Those are unforgivable sins to me. Other unforgivable sins, I'm just giving you some examples. Child molestation. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. But That sort of thing. A grown individual getting involved with an underage child. Any child under 18 is illegal to interact with them sexually. Let me put it in those linguists. I don't want to get in any issues with YouTube and its algorithms or keywords that you can't say. But those are unforgivable sins. Those are things like, it'll be hard for you to forgive somebody. Let's be real. Let's be honest here. That it would be hard for you to forgive somebody who raped you. Let's use grape and leave off the G for exactly what I'm referring to. Because again, I don't know the rules of this whole thing here. I really should look that up so I can be careful with my words here so my videos don't get flagged. It's hard to forgive someone who raped you. You know what I mean? Those are unforgivable. But still, we have to look at the bigger picture, the greater understanding that when you forgive, you're not excusing your offender for what they did to you, but you are setting yourself free from walking around with that toxic, bitter, heavy pain in your heart, corroding your heart, corrupting your soul, destroying your health and well-being from the inside out. You're walking around looking like the walking dead because unforgiveness is eating you alive from the inside out. Wretch is written on your forehead because you're holding on to unforgiveness. So it's important to let it go. Let it go. Let it go so you can go. Don't hold yourself back holding on to toxic emotions, aka unforgiveness. That's one of the toxic emotions, unforgiveness. Let it go so you can go, so that you can move forward, so that you can travel free and lightly through life. So that all the wonderful things of life can come onto you. You won't have to fight nor struggle for it because you are a magnet for goodness. Why? Because you are filled with love. You've forgiven things that were done wrongly and unjustly against you. So that makes you a better person, not a bitter person. And that's what we want. Moving on, third point and last. Forgiveness is a pathway to one's healing. It is. Especially, right? Your emotional, your mental, and physical well-being. Because thoughts and words, feelings, right, become things. Emotions can formulate into a tumor, into a fibroid, into a cyst, even into cancer, even into a heart attack. You're so pent up on these negative emotion of unforgiveness that you might blow a gasket one day. You might pop a blood vessel in your brain. You might get so angry because you've been wounded so deeply and you've held on to the pain for so long that is now eating you alive inside and out. It is showing up on you in the worst of ways. You're experiencing all type of diseases and illnesses and the likes because emotions is energy in motion. It becomes things. It formulates into hard matter. It goes from energetic, invisible matter to hard matter. It solidifies. It's made manifest. What you carry you will eventually give birth to, good or bad, positive or negative. So it's important to understand that forgiveness is a pathway to healing, and it is a process. But if you don't begin, you'll never heal. You'll corrode instead. Because what you don't put love on will certainly rot with time, because it's love that heals. I know people often, it's long been said that time heals, but I'm going to let you know that's incorrect. Okay? It is love that heals, time reveals. Love heals, time reveals all things. Because here's the understanding. Many years can go by, and Adele, one of my favorite artists, stated in her song, she said, "Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you like to meet me to go over everything. They say that time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing." That alone says it all, people. It is an epiphany of an understanding that have awakened within my mind's eye when I thought about it, and considering the experiences, the painful, hurtful experiences that I've gone through. I realized time heals nothing. Love does. If you can turn off that pain by letting it go and forgiving, by forgiving and letting it go, that's the moment when love showed up. That's when you decided to love yourself, to know that you deserve not to carry this pain any longer. You deserve not to walk around feeling heavy and burdened and toxic and dark and bitter, but you deserve to feel love and be loved and be lovable. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to smile again. Don't let the pain of unforgiveness rob you of your joy, rob you of your peace, rob you of your smile, rob you of God's blessings in your life, rob you essentially of the goodness of life. That is what love does. When you self-love in that way, time is obsolete in the understanding that it only reveals whether you've healed or not, whether you're forgiven or not. So time heals, time reveals, it is love that heals. Please understand that. Because the minute you decide to love yourself, the pain is gone. The hurt is gone. The heaviness is gone. The darkness in your soul obliterates. It dissipates. The minute someone comes in, even if you're having a difficulty loving yourself, and someone comes in and love on you, immediately you're no longer wounded. That person came in and stood in the gap for you where you fall short of loving thine own self. And they gave you the love that the other person could not give to you. And you're like, wow. Suddenly you're healed. It's like giving birth to a child and all the wound of the father who betrayed you in whatever way he did. The minute that child is, you push that child out of your womb and hold him or her in your arms, the love that you feel for that child and from that child makes you forget all that pain. I know it did for me. It did for me with my son's father. He did some hurtful things, things I don't even want to talk about, things that no longer hurt me when I talk about it either. And that's another way you can find out whether you've healed or not, whether you've truly forgiven from your heart or not, is if you can talk about the person or the situation that unfolded that caused you hurt or harm, and it doesn't feel like someone's pouring salt in an open wound, because that wound has been fully closed, which means you have fully healed, which means you have truly forgiven. So again, I'll close out by saying, it is love that heals, time reveals. All right, and I have to also add to it and say, unforgiveness is truly a disease, a dis-ease within the soul. It really is. Because again, it corrupts the soul. It corrodes and corrupts the soul. It's the same thing for people who are holding on to hatred called racism, right? It is a disease, a generational disease of the soul. It truly is. But anyway, that's another topic for another time. So I will leave it there. And again, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell if you like to receive more of these talks coming your way. Yeah, folks, this was fun. Good stuff. And until next time, be good to yourself and each other. Ciao. Bye.